Hello, everybody.
Welcome to
Mind Body Stuff.
I'm Kaylee.
I'm Bernice.
Welcome back. I think Michelle told us this is episode number 30.
I think that's right.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a big
job.
deal. Woo!
Look at us.
We're celebrating.
We're committed.
We're committed. Yeah,
to
and
a
we have
weekly
fun.
thing. And we have so much fun.
And we're learning so much about each other and about the world and about you guys. And,
Totally.
I mean, I'm just so thankful to be able to do this. It makes me think about stuff.
It makes me think about so much stuff.
Every week. Sometimes I get a little lazy, I just want to lay around. I'm like,
I totally
I
agree.
got to think about this.
I love that too. It's constantly making me stay engaged and mindful.
I can't imagine being like Anderson Cooper or
you again with your oh my god.
What about Anderson Cooper?
What about Walter Cronkite?
What about you, Anderson? How do you feel like every day you're having to think of? I would be so I guess my voice would hurt after a while from talking that much.
My brain would hurt.
My brain would hurt too, or it would never stop, and then we'd have a big problem. What would you like to say this week, Kaylee?
Oh my God, what do I want to say this week? Well, we have an interesting, I think this is such a good question. I'm going to share what a reader wrote, and she said, "Is there such a thing as too much OULA? My husband says he understands my need to do it, but he also seriously thinks OULA is a cult and says it bothers him when I tell people I'm obsessed about it. I've tried to explain to him that doing OULA makes me a better person, wife, mother, but I feel like he really doesn't get it. I've also encouraged him to come so he can see what it's about, but he's not interested. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this." And I think probably most of you out there listening can relate to this in some way.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Yeah, I can.
Can you?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I was talking to my husband about it last night.
About OULA?
We were talking about the podcast.
Oh, the podcast.
And he was like, "Oh, what a great topic." And he said, I think we had trouble with that in the beginning. Mm-hmm. He admitted.
Does he listen to our podcast?
He listens sometimes. He listened in the beginning a lot, and now he doesn't listen as much anymore. So I feel like
really?
I have more
We've only
free
gotten
reign.
better.
I know. I should make him listen to one.
Hey, Mikey.
He listens to weird basketball podcasts.
What do they talk about?
What
basketball?
about Dirk Nowitzki retiring soon? What a great player he was.
Oh, and it's whole podcast on that?
Whole podcast. And they have famous players and they interview them and then they'll talk about their opinions.
That's cool.
Anyway, that's what he likes.
Well,
But that's too bad because he'd be learning something important right now.
Well, we know a few things. He needs to propose to you.
Never proposed.
Okay, what else have we learned that Mikey needs to do?
He needs to clean the house.
He needs to clean the house more. He needs to propose.
He needs to pay attention.
Pay attention, Mike.
Pay attention.
If you're listening.
Because sometimes when I talk, how about you guys? Do you ever have that when you're talking to your partner and they kind of zone out?
Yeah.
And I could be saying, then I throw something really serious in, that's too bad that Josephine lost her toe today, and still there's nothing.
And he doesn't respond.
Nothing. So, anyway.
I think Rob would say that that's more me.
More you. Yeah, you're more like that.
I can check out. But Rob talks so slow. I feel like sometimes my brain just goes super fast. When I listen back to podcasts or audiobooks, I always do it at 1.5 speed.
You do.
I almost have a hard time paying attention when somebody talks to me really slow. It's I lose him. And he's so thoughtful and deliberate, and he's putting so much thought into what he's saying, and it has the opposite effect on me that I'm I literally cannot track what you're talking about.
You check out.
I totally check out. I know he's hello.
Although I did just run into an old boyfriend. Exciting to say.
In Hawaii?
In Hawaii. And he was the opposite of Mike. He was always engaged.
Oh.
How are you today?
That's obnoxious,
What's
too.
happening now? And I realized when I talked to him, I was like, oh, you are very irritating. It would just make my energy go up even higher.
Right.
That with Mike, maybe it's better for me to have someone that, I have to constantly make, yeah, you need to pay attention to me.
Right.
I think
know.
that's better.
I kind of like to be with someone who likes me, but not too much.
Yeah, too much. I was like, that's frightening. And
That's
are you
a little
listening
annoying.
to every word I say? Because
I'm not that interested.
It's not that good, really. It's not really that, or that funny, or that sad. Except back to our topic.
Okay, back to our fun. So how do you think, and I'll share my experience with Roberto as well, but how did you and Mike get through this?
I think he figured out at first, you start and you get addicted.
Right.
And then you just start doing it all the time. You talk about it all the time. And he was just like, what is your problem? Like,
right.
Stop. He doesn't talk about his workouts all the time.
Right.
And,
because ours is more than just a workout.
Full body fitness. But finally.
Oh my God, I'm getting really hot. All of a
I
sudden.
am too.
Whoa,
all of a sudden,
what just happened
I don't
in here?
know, but now
I gotta
you make
strip
me
down
hot.
a little bit. Oh my God.
It's
just
bad.
got really hot.
I'm super suggestible too. So now I'm like, I feel very, very hot as well.
It feels flush in here.
But what was I talking?
Sorry. You're saying that Mike doesn't come home and talk about his workout.
Oh yeah. And so, but he figured out that OULA. So then I was like, okay, then I won't go.
Oh, you said that?
Yeah. I was like, oh, I won't go.
Oh, you're such a brat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You push me. I'm like, I won't
Fine.
go. I won't go. And then I would get grumpier and grumpier until finally he was like, you need to go.
Yeah.
Or have you gone?
Sure.
Have you gone to OULA today?
Sure.
So I create a little reverse psychology.
You're like, how do you like this? You're like,
and then he figured out like, whoa, this makes her happy. And then we had a few like really deep discussions about, I have supported you in your life and your dreams of wanting to be a raft guide or be outdoors and create businesses that way, which he has done. And I have supported for 20 years.
Right.
And I said, I think it's only fair that at this stage of my life, you now turn around and support me.
Yes.
And not financially, but with your positive energy in this business that I love doing that obviously makes me very, very happy. And he said, you are exactly right. It does make you very happy. So better.
And I mean, and also you now travel all the time with OULA. So not only do you go to classes, but I mean, he's had to adjust significantly to you not only going to OULA a lot, but working for OULA, talking about it, having so many friends that do OULA, that a lot of the conversations socially
are around
OULA. And then on top of that, for you to be gone at least once a month.
At least once a month for OULA. But he was gone a lot.
Right.
The first 20 years of our marriage.
Sure.
So, and again, if he tries to complain about that, I don't know about what you folks feel, but I bring up to him, hey, I was home and I made it possible for you to do those things, which you love doing and continue to do. He continues to travel for his work as well.
Yeah.
And he immediately, if I catch him on that, he immediately goes, exactly. You're exactly right. I'm all, #me too. I'm like, don't push me. But if I use that logic,
okay,
I wrap it all in. Back off, buddy. It's women's time, okay? And he gets all like, oh, here she goes.
He's like, let me play
She's
this
gonna give
song for you. Woman up. Now watch me dance.
You're going to love it.
And you're going to like it.
And you're going to say good things about it. But I think, so over time, and he would admit this too, and I'm going to make him listen to this.
Oh, yeah. Mike, do you hear that? Hey, Mike. How's it going?
We're going to make you listen to this. That he would agree that, this is my thing. And he has his thing.
Yeah.
And certainly it's tough on us. His thing is tough on me sometimes.
Right.
And my thing is tough on him sometimes.
Yeah.
There's always toughness in relationship.
Yes.
That doesn't mean we stop doing it or we separate.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, your thoughts as I...
Yeah, my thoughts. Well, I feel in my... I guess my relationship is maybe a little bit different just because it is my company. And I feel like anybody who's started a business, which also be... Mm-hmm. Especially when you're passionate about it, it's completely all encompasing.
Mm-hmm.
All encompassing.
Yes.
And Rob he's incredibly supportive. Like he's very supportive, and he has supported the work financially. He's supported taking care of the children once we had kids, with his time. Thank you. That's the way to say it. So now I've actually probably backed off how much I talk about OULA, or how much I actually work a lot less than I used to as well. So I've gotten to the point where there does feel to be more balanced with it, but he still doesn't like when all of my friends are over and we talk, because I don't know why we always do talk about OULA, but when OULA is your job, it's your friendship group. It's, the way that you feel healthy, both physically and mentally. And, for me, not for everybody, but spiritually, it's a way in which I do a lot of my personal work is through this vehicle that just happens to be OULA. And I think sometimes, I think he could probably benefit from some of the conversations, but because it's OULA, then he just kind of checks out.
Yeah, that's what
it's not like he doesn't want me to, work as hard as I work or, travel or do whatever. Like, he's supportive of it all, but he just doesn't really want to be involved.
Right, in that capacity.
Like, he'll support me doing it, but he doesn't necessarily want to hear about it.
Mike loved at the wedding, my daughter's wedding, which we talked about already. Rob and Kaylee were there, and we were all dancing. It was great dancing, as we talked about. And we had arranged that 2 OULA songs would be in the dancing playlist partway through.
Oh my God, we got in a fight about this.
And this was hilarious because Mike was there, kind of staying near Rob, and then suddenly, magically, like a third song, we didn't pick it. Just another song came up, and and Rob said something like, "You're not gonna do OULA to this, are you? Like, really, don't do it." And Mike's like, I heard him say that. Because Mike was thinking the same thing. But then Mike said, but Mike was so, he always just changes it. Because he loved that Rob said that. Because I think he feels guilty sometimes too.
Totally.
Really, we have to watch you dance this again.
Yeah.
Or.
Yeah, Rob was concerned that people who didn't do OULA would feel excluded, or they couldn't also dance to those songs.
Right. But Mike was like, but you know what, you guys, when you did it, everyone wanted to dance.
Oh, that's
He
nice
said it
of
really
Mike.
was everyone, you could feel the energy just go up, and people were talking in the crowd about it, and so it wasn't like how they are, or some of our spouses are, or friends who maybe are like, oh God, don't do that one more time, because it was brand new to all these people at the wedding.
So they're like, oh, what's that?
How exciting, and how do they know all the moves to that song?
Yeah, we got in a fight because there were I think we were being like, oh, what song should we request, stuff like that, and he was like, just don't do any more OULA songs, okay? And I'm like, Rob, relax. He's like, no. He was very conscientious about making sure that the other guests at the wedding didn't feel excluded by it. He was he was very sensitive about that.
Yeah, he was aware. I could tell he was aware of it.
He was being really aware of that.
Which Mike really liked. Mike's like, oh, good, Rob.
Totally. But I do have some theories as to why sometimes our partners, or I also will say,
we've had friends even.
Oh, totally.
I have friend groups who are just like, please don't talk about this.
And my family.
Oh, and my family too.
My family. And at the beginning, here's another thing that's actually really, this is not the necessarily OULA side, but this is the business owning side. I try to remind everybody in my life, I am not strapped to my desk from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. But you have to tolerate the fact that I'm going to be working sometimes when I'm hanging out, but appreciate the fact that I'm home rather than at the office.
Right.
But I've gotten, I know that my family has definitely had issue with the fact that, oh, you're working again, or you're on your phone. And it's like, yeah, but I'm also at lunch. Would you rather I'm not here?
Yeah.
Would you rather me being at the office?
Right, exactly.
I have a business run, and sometimes I'm like, do you not take it seriously because I own it and it seems like it's a fun business? I think sometimes people can get confused. And again, I'm talking about as a business owner perspective.
I think my mom is like that.
Yeah,
She's well, it's dance.
They don't take it seriously because we enjoy it so much.
Yeah, you're dancing.
And it's fun.
You dance around. You've always been dancing around.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like, yeah, but take this seriously, what I'm doing. Because I'm trying to do, big stuff.
Yeah, we're not just dancing around.
It's not just dancing around. The dance is merely the vehicle to be doing bigger work. And so sometimes I'm like, okay, but you're not taking this seriously. You think, and I'm on Facebook a lot, and so it's like, get off of Facebook. It's like, yeah, but unfortunately, a lot of my work is actually through this medium. I'm very sorry, but it is.
Yeah.
Anyways, as you can tell, I also have some issues with this.
Really?
But anyways, getting hot again. But so here are a couple of theories that I have. Number one, I think that people can feel left out.
Yes.
And we were talking about this, like sometimes when you come back from ULA, you have this like really big energy that if you're coming home to a partner, you're not sharing this. And I mean, you may be like, hi, I'm so happy to see you. You have all this energy, but you're going to come home probably with a different presence than when you left.
Yes.
And I think that can be like, well, why? Like, what is that? It's a dance fitness class. Like,
right.
But you're like, no, but then I, blah, like all this big stuff that can happen and that can, change the way that you feel. I think that there's that piece of like missing out on something, but also not really wanting to be a part of that. But then also noticing that that your person's energy comes back and it is so big and so excited. And so this kind of like, well, I don't think I fit in that, but then how do our energies fit
match
together?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's a good point. And I've had that happen actually the opposite to me, where someone will come back from something like, I just did a 100-mile bike ride. And they're just like, yeah. And I get kind of jealous. I don't know why, but I get like, why are you so happy? That's my cynical nature.
Yeah, sure.
And then I want to do the opposite. Like, well, bike riding's bad for your groin. Or, I try and say,
totally would say
I always
that.
say like, and then I'm like, what am I talking about? Like, that's super rude. And the person is happy.
It's clearly happy.
Just let the person be happy.
Yeah.
But it's that weird feeling of feeling left out.
Yes.
And that I don't have that feeling of euphoria.
Right.
And then I'm kind of jealous of them.
Totally.
Like, why are you so euphoric?
Yeah. Absolutely.
What did you do to get that?
That feeling of left out or jealousy.
Yeah.
My other theory is, which I think is very true in some cases, is with friendships or partnerships or whatever it may be, sometimes there's this like enjoyment of dependency. Mm-hmm. So, or this comfort. We get comfortable with someone being very dependent on us for their happiness. And that gives us a sense of security, B, a sense of like value,
worth,
and C, I think it gives a sense of power to be needed.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it feels good to be needed.
And I think sometimes, for some of us. Yeah. And I think what can sometimes happen is that as a person does more of their personal work and starts to feel more whole and starts to feel like they need less reassurance from other people, and they start to build up that confidence and that sense of self-worth and value and feel like they can take up space and use their voice and all these things that we try to get people to experience and feel in an ULA class, then a partner or a friend or a mother or a child, whoever the relationship is with, I think they can start to feel like, well, what's my role in your life now? Because now you don't need me as much. You're not so needy for this sense of reassurance, or like, I was always the person that you needed to talk to when you were feeling, whatever. But now it seems like you can go to ULA and come back and feel so much better.
Right.
And so I think that sometimes they can feel like their worth or their value has changed because the individual going to ULA feels more capable and able to take care of themselves.
And they talk about that in couples therapy, in relation therapy, whether it's friendship or in families or with couples, when somebody changes.
Yes.
And how difficult.
And how hard
even if it's like somebody changes for the better.
Absolutely.
They always say, okay, now anticipate, this is going to be difficult for this relationship.
Yes.
Isn't that interesting? It's interesting because you're used to the relationship being this way. Mm-hmm. And maybe it wasn't great that way. But that's what you're used to.
Was comfortable.
That was what you're comfortable with. That you know what to expect.
Yes.
And so there's always going to be difficulty when, not always, but it's challenging when somebody changes.
In most cases.
Yeah.
Yes. A change usually has an element of upheaval to it.
Yes. And then everything has to be kind of redefined. According to it. So now it's like, we didn't have ULA before. And now Jane has ULA.
Right.
And now what do we want to do with that?
Yes.
Because now she seems to have a bigger voice. She seems very energetic.
Happier. She has new friends we don't know.
And she's maybe busy with them sometimes.
Yeah, and I used to always, we used to do this every single Sunday, and now she wants to go to ULA, and I feel like, well, how does that affect me?
Right. And what does that mean for our relationship?
Mm-hmm. That's another thing that I think can happen. I also, what was that C? I can't remember what that one was. And then the next theory or experience that I've had is that OULA, if we go back to that value sheet that we keep talking about, and that so many of you have emailed asking for, which is awesome, and I hope it's been helpful for you guys. What we're saying with this value sheet is that for those of us who do OULA for more than just the physical fitness of OULA, which I know that there are definitely some out there who do it just for physical fitness, but for those of us who use OULA for the more kind of full being health and wellness, OULA can check off a lot of those boxes, a lot of those values that we as humans, most of us value. So like friendship, community,
civil service, sort of almost like, doing in your OULA community, lots of times there's something like, well, we learned we can help over at the shelter or something like that.
Yes, exactly. What are the other
spirituality?
Ones? Yeah, spirituality, education. There's so many different, I think, checks that we can put on those boxes through OULA, especially as OULA has developed throughout the years. Like, I mean, just as a reminder, it just started with OULA, the class. And so then, because of my just interest in personal growth, and then, obviously bringing you on and your interest and your experience, and from what went from a class, I mean, now we're doing workshops that don't even include dancing.
Yes,
and so we're now, OULA is this thing that is much, much bigger than just a physical workout. And so therefore, for many of us, it can check off so many of those boxes, whereas maybe our partners go hop on the treadmill for 45 minutes, or go and, like lift weights, or go for a run. And maybe they're checking off a few of the boxes, but maybe they're not understanding that, that they're like, why, if it's just a workout class, like, why are you so...
Right, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. They're not understanding that it's, it's
so
fulfilling
much
different parts of
than
us.
just a workout class. And it's hard to explain because, of course, we are again trying to sort of redefine the fitness world, or how people view fitness. And so it's hard when we have one sense of fitness is when I go to the gym and I get on my treadmill and I do my weights, and then I go home and I feel pretty good. But OULA is so much broader than that it's very hard to define and talk to someone else who hasn't experienced it.
Yes. Exactly.
They're kind of like, what are you talking about?
Well, and even if
I love when they're like, is it a cult?
I know.
Is it some type of cult?
I know.
It's like, funny. it's a fitness health.
But I would argue that the CrossFit people and the Soul Cycle and all those people, they probably, I mean, I know that they get that whole same cult thing, but it's because they have created communities just like we do with OULA. And I think that is the key. And our partners can feel really left out when we are now part of a community that they're not, because in most other aspects of our lives, we share community with our partner. We live in the same neighborhood. We have the same, usually, social group. We attend the same church. Our kids attend the school where all these other parents, are there.
We share a lot
with our partner in life is a shared sense of community. And I think what can happen is then when one of the partners finds a community, and we are human. I mean, community is a massively important thing as humans. And so I think when one partner kind of enters this new community, the other partner can be like, what is happening?
Where'd you go?
Yeah. And so I get it. I totally get it. And I think also, let's just say we dance around the kitchen and be like, look at this dance that we do at OULA. They're going to watch and they're going to see how happy you are. But they can't, just by watching us dance around to a song in the kitchen, understand the depth of
the entirety of the
experience
class.
Feels in community, like the stories that come out, the sharing, the trust, the love, all of that happens. And
the looks you share with women in class or men in class sometimes, where you're you're just like, yeah, me too.
Yeah, and so I think they're kind of like, that's nice, but why?
But why?
Like, why is this that important
Looks
to you?
like a fun dance
that
to
looks
me.
fun, yeah, sure, but what?
Yeah.
So I don't think that they totally understand it. But B, I think you made the best point when you said, as we change, we have to expect that our relationships we have to expect a little bit of shifting,
a little upheaval
mm-hmm. as these relationships and the people within the relationship redefine themselves.
Yes, because they're like, what's happening? Where did you go? Usually we do this at this time, and now you're doing this other thing at this time. And why are you so happy?
Yeah.
Even though the person recognizes how great that you are happy.
And then you have these new friends, and then you and these new friends then are talking about this thing that I still don't understand.
I don't understand. It's almost like everyone's speaking a different language than the partner. And the partner's like, what is everyone talking about?
Totally.
Maybe they're speaking Cantonese and nobody else knows it, and you're like, why is everyone in this room speaking Cantonese? And you're just shouting like, hello,
hello.
Does anybody hear me?
But don't you think it is funny? I will have to say this, that when people who do OULA get together, they talk about OULA a lot. Like, it's not like we just found each other and now we're like, oh, we're good friends, and now we just hang out. But like, OULA people talk about OULA a lot.
Yeah, they do. But I also, it's funny that you mentioned CrossFit, because I remember Mike got into CrossFit for a while.
Yeah.
And they were all talking about CrossFit a lot.
Well, they all talk about CrossFit. I have a friend on Facebook. Well, she's a good friend of mine in real life, but we don't live in the same town, so I only see her on Facebook. Everything she posts about is CrossFit and her CrossFit friends and cheering her CrossFit friends on. I'm like, see, it's the same thing.
It's the same
because
thing.
Because CrossFit has created a very strong community.
Mm-hmm.
It's community.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, unfortunately, I think a lot of our partners, well, I don't know. Maybe our partners would like OULA. Maybe they wouldn't. I don't know.
Mine hasn't come. He's afraid.
What's he afraid of?
He's afraid it's going to be too hard.
It would be too hard. Mike, are you listening?
He's always like, I don't think I could do all that stuff that you're doing there. But it's funny because he's a great dancer and he loves to dance.
He is. You guys are all such great dancers. You guys should have seen all of Bernice's children dancing at Joe's wedding. Like, I was standing there in shock about how good of a dancer all of your children are.
They were. It was really...
Like, to see Sam and Ev especially, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're good dancers.
And then how about when Ray jumped in?
And Ray, too. I mean, yes, they're all just
I was like,
good.
whoa, Ray's jumping in. And then Ray was just kind of jamming. Oh, you guys are going to love this, too. Here's an aside. They had an assembly at school the other day.
Yeah.
And it had a dance-off.
Oh, no way.
And it was the high school kids and the grade school kids.
Cute.
So the high school kids came in and they've been taking line dancing classes. So they were real good. And swing classes. So the boys were flipping the girls. And
fun.
And then it's the grade school kids. And so everyone, and Ray has just started this school.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And everyone, it goes, okay, who wants to come up? And everyone chants, Ray,
no way.
Ray. And he gets up.
No way.
Yep, and he just starts dancing. They said it was great. He was just dancing on the floor.
How did they all know he was such a good dancer?
I have no idea.
Does he dance around at school?
He must dance around at school.
He must, for them to know.
And this is a 6th grader, so it's pretty cool to see a 6th grade boy
a
totally
6th grade boy.
unafraid.
Yeah.
Like, all the teachers came up and they're like, it was so, like, it's so great to see the confidence in the movement and owning kind of who you are.
Yeah.
Your authenticity.
Yeah.
And there's another little boy dancing up there with him who had kind of special needs. And Ray was dancing around him. And then the high school kids were doing swing dancing. So Ray then picked up the little boy and carried him off stage.
He did?
Yeah, and the little boy was clapping.
Oh, that is so cool.
But how wonderful that we've been able to model that.
Well, totally.
For this generation of boys, too. I think that's a whole nother topic, of course, that we've covered off and on. But, I
love that. Ray is, you guys are such great examples and great models as parents. Like, all of your kids are so cool.
Oh,
they're so cool.
Difficulties off and on, as everyone does as parents.
Who
but
doesn't?
yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah.
But, I think
love that.
Back to Mike coming to OULA, I think he's kind of afraid. And I don't know if any
also,
of anyone else's partners feel that way.
I also want to say, like, the thing about you and Mike is you accept that the other person has interests and you don't have to be involved in everything the other person does.
Yeah.
And I think there's that beautiful,
I don't
kind of
go
permission to say, this thing is mine.
Yes, and he kind of recognizes, like, that's your thing,
I
and it
need
makes
my
you
partner
happy.
at OULA.
Yeah.
I need a space for me to not be a mom, to not be a wife, to not be anything to anybody else. I want to show up and just be there for myself. I don't want my, I'm getting excited over here. Yeah. My hands are flying. I don't want anyone else there. I mean, yeah, maybe friends, but I don't need my partner.
And almost sometimes if I know people too well,
I get nervous.
I get nervous too. Or if it's just a class with everyone, either our regular participants and new people I don't know, then I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. But sometimes with people I know, for some reason I don't know, I feel more like, they're gonna think
that is such a good point
differently of me.
That is such a good point. Like,
I'm not sure why that is.
We had some friends in town, and they've heard about OULA for years. They live in England, and they came to OULA 1 on Monday night, and I was nervous for them to be there, and then I was kind of like nervous after class, like when we went home, to be like,
hi,
didn't see that side of me ever, have you?
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's almost kind of like, I don't know, I felt a little like, not embarrassed, I don't want to, maybe even a little embarrassed. But this OULA 1 release has some kind of like intense stuff going on in it. So, part of it is like, whoa, was that a lot?
Was that too much?
But then again, it just
taps into... But is that the
into...
separateness thing too? Like, why are we uncomfortable?
I don't know. And then it taps into my, like, the fear of being too much and the fear of being not enough. It's the same fear, the fear of being yourself. And I just thought, this is obviously, when I'm outside of OULA, I can be this, like, controlled, I can show you... Or I can, interact in a way that is very much like how I feel like I should be interacting. But in OULA, I kind of just like say, F it. And
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like I just open the floodgates to actually being exactly how I want to be in this space. And then I get kind of embarrassed when people from my regular life come to OULA because I'm like, yeah, so that's me in there.
Sorry about that loud.
But again, like
on that one part. Wasn't it great though?
Wasn't that a great moment
panting,
we shared together?
The sexual panting.
But and this is what I always go back to. You guys have heard me say this a million times, but the work that I try to do in OULA, I want it to transfer to the rest of my life. So part of that is just me getting comfortable, just showing up and fully embodying who I am and how I'm feeling in that moment and taking up space. It's like we do have this like great little cocoon, as we refer to it, in OULA, and then the work is then transferring that out. And so I obviously still need to work on that.
Yeah, it's an interesting conundrum there. But of course, I'm not going to
You got yourself a conundrum.
I've got a conundrum right there. What do you think that means? Got to work on that. But that is interesting how, of course, I'm not going to go out and just like start singing.
Panting and
I'm
slapping.
alive!
Or yeah, or that, yeah.
And just flinging my arms around and kind of working on my core there. I did that class. I did it on Monday. And my obliques on both sides again. You guys remember that song, I'm Alive? Just like, wow, that's painful. So surprising when you work the thrashing when you work certain areas like that.
Rob will come to OULA 1, not a lot, but he likes it. It just doesn't always fit in his schedule. Well, especially because he has to watch the children while I'm at class for one of them, and then the other one is just kind of a hard time for him to get to. But he likes OULA 1.
Well, I think Mike would like OULA 1 too. I mean, he likes the stretching. He liked yoga a lot, and he liked even what's the sweaty yoga, the hot, where
the hot yoga.
Hot yoga. Love the hot yoga.
Yeah, I mean, yes, Rob. I think Rob would say OULA 1 is much more accessible or up his alley.
Than the dancing.
Than the dance one. I don't need him to love to dance. I don't, it's like that doesn't enhance our relationship in any way.
No,
I don't think.
No, I don't.
I think it is cool because I know that some of you guys do dance with your partners. And I think that is awesome.
And I would love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, I would love to hear from you guys.
How did your partners get involved? I know. Or were they involved first and then did they invite you?
Like Angel, if you're listening. I know you and your husband dance together all the time. Like, how does that feel? Do you ever feel like it's like, your thing, or like, how did you invite him into that space? Do you ever feel like, I don't know.
Is he in your space? Although it seems like you guys just have probably other stuff going on, but this happens to be something you like to do together.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, maybe it would be a really cool thing for Rob to do. I don't know. Poor Rob. We did the OULA photo shoot like a month.
I didn't know he was I wasn't there that day, and suddenly I'm like, is that Rob in the pictures?
Oh, he couldn't follow anything, but he was trying so hard.
His little face, he's all kind of like a worried look with his hands up. Like,
Totally
and I'm
did.
like, oh.
And everyone's looking front because obviously it's a photo shoot, but he was like looking directly at me, like his head was like turned, trying to figure out what to do.
I was wondering how he kind of looked like a deer in the headlights, like kind of looking big-eyed over.
Poor
And I'm like,
guy.
oh, something's happening.
Yeah, and he was,
But it was
he
nice
was such
to
a good
see his
sport guy. He
pictures in
showed
there.
up and was
Well,
there
it's your
for that.
business, as he should.
It's my business. Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
I don't need him to love ULA, but I need him to support that this is what I do.
Right.
And I need him to support me as a partner in that. And he does.
Right.
And he even got his picture taken.
And it is, and we do acknowledge that it is tough for some partners
Yeah.
to understand. And again, not just partners. I have a friend who, she is just like, can you guys not talk about ULA?
Yeah. I have
Tonight?
definitely people in my life who
Can
say
you
that.
please not?
Can you
and
not
I just
talk
want
about
to
ULA?
talk about something different tonight.
Yeah.
And she takes ULA, but she's not in. She doesn't work.
Yeah,
at ULA.
yeah.
And so she's just like, I take ULA. I love ULA. She's like, but I don't want to
talk about it
all the time.
every time we get together.
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
And I think we, as people who do ULA, I think we also need to be conscientious of how much we talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I used to remember, before ULA, I mean, I had good friends, but I didn't have
Before ULA was born.
Before ULA was born, I had good friends, but I feel like my friendships through ULA are just like really like soul level friendships.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many conversations I sat through with Rob talking about climbing with his friends, and I remember being so bored. So I do have I have some understanding.
Yeah. It's the same with Mike, like rafting or kayaking.
Totally.
I'm just like, yeah, I like it. I mean,
It's great.
neat. It's water. I do like water, but we're going to talk about that river again.
Again?
Wow. Fascinating.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I'd say, having a level of support from our partners, but also being conscientious of how us talking about them being conscientious about how much we're talking about it in front of them, like for us to have that consciousness about it. And then also just, I think there are some frank conversations that probably need to happen in a lot of people's relationships that go a little something like this. I need you to support my happiness.
Yes. Yeah. Like Mike found out. Like when I
Totally.
didn't go, he was like, you need to go. And I'm like, well, it seems to bother you. I guess I won't.
Seems like this is an issue for you.
Yeah, I guess I won't go. And he
Right.
was just like, you are a wreck this week.
Go.
You need to go. Like
Yeah.
he was like, I'll make whatever happen
Yeah.
so you can go.
Totally.
And that was a very helpful conversation for him to get.
And again, I think we have to realize, like, the even to have these types of conversations that we say, this is something that makes me really happy and makes me feel fulfilled. I need your support as my partner in this. Those conversations suck. It's not going to feel good, but it's going to feel better once you get through it as a couple.
And I also am one of those weird, and maybe you guys are too, where I'm like, you should just know that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you should just read my mind.
If you guys haven't noticed, both Bernice and myself are slightly difficult to be married to.
Read my mind. Read the cues. It's obviously important to me. But as a therapist, people can't read minds. People have difficulty reading cues, even in long-term relationships, and sometimes more so in long-term relationships.
Yeah, because you can ignore some things.
Because we just ignore stuff. We get comfortable.
Yeah.
So that is like what you said. I loved how you said, we need to talk about that this is important to me.
Yeah.
And what can we do to make it better for you?
Yes.
So that I can continue to enjoy this.
Yes, exactly. And if they're like, I don't want you to talk about it when you get home, then okay, maybe you need to respect that.
Yeah.
You were gone for an hour, you did your thing, maybe an hour and a half, when you add 2 hours when you tack on the driving and socializing.
Maybe visiting with friends.
Yeah, and then just say, okay, I respect that. I got to commit myself to that for 2 hours, and so when I get home, I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Or, whatever you need to do to strike that balance of self-fulfillment, but also respect for the partnership, but also respect to a certain degree, because I am very much a proponent of just being like, hello, I need your support in this too.
Yeah,
like, I'm not going to tiptoe around your feelings because I am now feeling better about my life or myself or happier in my journey.
Let's talk about this because it feels like, and again, like we talked about before, any type of change, even positive change, is going to be difficult. I think
sometimes even especially positive change.
Right. Because negative change might be like, oh goodness.
Oh, I can help you. You need me.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like,
Except for the movie Tully.
Oh my God. Don't start with me on Tully. Have you guys seen that movie? Oh, we both watched it separate flights, but both on the flights over to Hawaii.
Totally impacted by
that show was
whoa. But
where was her husband?
Here's a woman in a manic.
Don't tolerate your husband not helping out and laying in bed playing video games at night, not noticing how absolutely tired and
psychotic you might be getting. Absolutely. She was obviously entering postpartum psychosis.
Totally.
She was in postpartum psychosis. But again, so that was the topic. Like, some people don't even notice the negative.
Oh, sure.
Like, he didn't even notice that she wasn't sleeping at night.
She was baking cupcakes in the middle of the night, including the house.
Long. Yes. Not really realizing it was a separate self of hers that was doing it at the time.
Oh my God. That was a bad movie to watch when I'm pregnant with my third
kid. I was like, and I haven't had kids
you
for
should have texted
11
me to
years.
Watch that movie.
And I was just like,
Jeez.
Joe hasn't had children yet, my daughter, and she was, of course, like, how interesting. And I was over there, like, crying, like, I can't watch this. This is very upsetting to me, and you should not be watching this. Like, it was just very, like, shook me.
It was a big movie. It was a big movie.
It was a big, big movie. But again, change happens. We have to acknowledge in our lives. Just happens.
Yeah, it happens.
So, and it's going to affect relationships. That's just what happens, whether positive or negative. Yeah. So be prepared to have those hard conversations about, this is where I'm at right now. It seems like what's happening for you as I'm doing this and talking about this. Yes. And also striking balance with each other so that I have this in my life. What do you have in your life?
Sure.
That same.
Or even like, how can you include them in the greater conversation so that it's not just OULA? So maybe it's like a realization you had about yourself, like, or, something, if you went to like a workshop or whatever, and there were things that brought up some questions in you,
great point.
Then to be like, hey, I just like, I've been thinking about this lately. Like, what do you think? Maybe include them in these conversations that are the reason that you are feeling like, oh my gosh, OULA. Like, how, I wonder if there's another way that we could include them in the conversation without including them in OULA or even OULA conversation, but just whatever you're getting or whatever's coming up for you, figuring out how to include your partner in some of that.
Because there is a sense of exclusion, or they feel excluded perhaps.
Like, oh, you're growing in ways that I don't understand.
Yeah, right. And I'm not sure what does that mean
what is that?
For us even.
Totally.
But of course, I also have the selfish side, which is like, I'm freaking going to do it. It makes me happy. Yeah. So you deal with it.
Well, again, and like I said, you and I are both like that. And, I don't know if that's going to work in every partnership because those just aren't the dynamics that have been created. But at least in your and my marriage, those are absolutely the dynamics that have been created. But I would also argue that we give that exact liberty to our partners.
Exactly. I totally agree.
And it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
I expect that in my marriage, and I also allow that in my marriage.
Yes, I do too.
And so I support him 100% in his personal endeavors, and I love that, but I get it back.
But I expect the same.
I expect the same thing in mine. And, everybody understands their own, or, I guess we don't always understand our relationships either. But everybody has to figure out what works for your personality, your partner's personality, kind of like the commitments you've made to one another, the structures that you've set in place for how your family works. And not that those are set in stone. I think those can also shift and change, but figuring out how to keep the peace, but also understanding a little disruption isn't always the worst thing. Any sort of change is going to cause disruption.
It causes disruption. And again, like we talk about, not everything is going to feel pleasant.
No, not everything is going to feel pleasant.
And it doesn't mean it's bad.
And I'm going to totally segue back to OULA for a second. I'm going to segue to OULA 1. So much of what I talk about in my OULA 1 classes is about like, it's a love letter to yourself and being gentle with yourself and not making these crazy demands on your body, but just allowing yourself to be as you are in that space. But I really struggle when I talk about when we get to the fire section and we're doing the push-ups or we're doing, the type of work that's creating a lot of burn and maybe discomfort in our bodies. And so sometimes I struggle queuing through that section because the rest of the class I'm talking about, move in loving ways. But what's so important to remember is that loving yourself is allowing yourself to change. And most of the time, change has an element of discomfort to it. So acknowledging that discomfort, staying connected and staying committed to the discomfort, because that transformation, that growth, that change is on the other side of that discomfort. And I think that goes for relationships inside of our body. I think that goes for relationships in partnership. I think that so many times we're afraid to change, or we don't allow ourselves to grow because we're afraid of that discomfort, or how it's going to make my partner feel, or how it's going to shift my life. And those changes can feel really scary. But committing to that sense of discomfort, as long as it is with a loving intention, you got to walk through the fire.
No, I agree. And Brett and Blaze, in Florida, she just posted something on the community page about the sexualization podcast we just did, but I pulled something out of it for me in OULA 1 and the fire section.
Oh, cool.
Because Blaze is a fitness instructor.
Yeah.
And she said, I have to put people in uncomfortable positions.
Sure.
That's what they're asking me to do. They're asking to get physically fit.
And it's uncomfortable.
And improving their flexibility and all.
Sure.
And she said, and it's uncomfortable. And as we get older, and I don't mean older like 50, 60, 70. I mean older like 20, 30, 40, you know, because you no longer kind of climbing around on the ground.
Yes.
Right? So you're not used to getting on all fours.
Oh, sure.
She even brought that up. You're not used to getting on all fours.
Uh-huh.
You're not used to like rolling around on the ground.
Yeah.
Where young kids are.
Oh, for sure.
And I love that whole sense of like pushing yourself past the familiar.
Yeah.
It was
totally.
Like, oh, right. She said, because it's just because it feels uncomfortable, like Rory's saying, it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it.
Yes.
Because you should do it. That's whole being, that's physical fitness. That's the body. Yes. The body wants to be on all fours. You know, totally. That's how it could develop.
Yeah.
And it was funny. Ray had a basketball practice last night, and he wants me to stay because he's feeling comfortable. And they're doing crab crawls across the floor. Oh, yeah. So then, of course, I'm like, I wonder if I could do that.
Oh, no, you didn't.
And
you got
did.
down.
Yeah.
Of course you did. She's that mom.
I'm all, yeah! But it was that whole feeling of, like, again, pushing ourselves into the discomfort. Because I'm like, I don't want it to be uncomfortable.
Right.
I'm 56.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't want to do things that don't feel...
It's not totally comfortable.
Right.
You know,
but
it's like, well...
Yeah.
It's not comfortable. Good.
It's not comfortable. Good.
Do
exactly.
It. Yeah.
As long as it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm going to tear something.
Right. Or I'm going to break my hip or something like that, which I'm not, you know when you're going to do something like that.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the same thing in relationships. We're going to grow. We're going to change. Things are going to happen. Things are going to come that are going to make us react differently. Mm-hmm. And so we have to stay open in relationship to change, to discomfort about change, and to always being open to redefining who we are.
I think that's so true. Yeah. Yeah. You get to rewrite your story as many times as you want.
As you want.
And we have to allow our partners to rewrite their stories.
Right. They might be like, well, wait, you started rewriting yours but then now it changes mine.
But what about my story?
Right. What about my story now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
Good
you
point.
rewrite your story too.
Yeah.
Or, you give me these times. Well, I want you to make sure that you're doing things that fulfill your own needs as well. Like sometimes we can also even just encourage our partners to make sure they're taking care of themselves.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Right.
So I think everyone can grow. I think it's just a level of consciousness to how it's affecting our partner, and a level of definitely honesty. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I feel like we are in relationships so that we can each grow. Like, I feel like that is the purpose of, whenever they say, like, you can't change anyone, don't expect anyone else to change. I call BS on that, because I would hope that my partnership and my relationships with other people absolutely change me. I 100% want to make sure all of the relationships that I'm intimately in are helping to make me a better person. Like, oh, yeah. I don't want you to just accept me. I mean, yes, I want you to accept me for who I am, but I'm okay if you call me out on my stuff or help me see things in a different way,
Yeah, that's what
that's
life...
the beauty of a part. We can't do all this work alone.
And that's the difficult part, too.
Totally difficult
where
part.
I'm just like, what are you talking about? Yeah. I don't agree with that.
The resistance.
Whatever. Yeah, and then suddenly I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
I need to listen up for a little bit here.
Right.
Otherwise I just go sit in my house and do the exact same thing I've been doing.
Yeah, like I want to keep evolving.
Growing, pushing the envelope.
I do, and I need the people in my life to help me get there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we all do.
We totally do.
Yeah, we're social creatures.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we totally strayed off topics for some of this, but would love to hear how everyone else either is currently navigating, has navigated. Maybe you've brought your partner into this. Maybe whatever it may be. Super interesting stuff.
Yeah, great question. Thanks for that question, too.
Yeah, thanks for that question, and we love hearing from you guys. So. Also, just want to say this real quick. We are totally booking out for 2019. So if you want us to come to your town for either, you guys, we would come for empowerment weekends, which are grouped in with our trainings, or for workshops, or whatever it is. Just let us know so that we can
get it scheduled. Because
with this third little baby on the way, I'm really, really conscious about
travel time.
So we're trying to limit it to like 1 weekend away a month. So as you can understand, it already is filling up the schedule fast. But these types of conversations are what our workshops are all about. It's basically like just diving into life and how we all navigate, and talking with one another, and sharing stories, and supporting. And so yeah, like we would love to have these types of conversations live with you all. They're just so much more, I don't know, better when it's not just you and me. No, I'm kidding. But
it's just mind expanding
so much.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of group work and working with a bunch of people.
Totally.
Sharing stories and growing with each other, and just realizing we're not alone.
We're not isolated. This is not.
It feels like that sometimes, but when we get to work together, it's like, wow, okay, I needed to hear that.
Yeah, exactly.
I needed to hear that.
Exactly. So thank you also to those who write in with questions or share your experience and comments in the community page. You guys are awesome. We love you. Talk to you next week.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Do OULA.
Do OULA.
Do you do the OULA?
Do you do the OULA? I do the OULA.
I do the OULA.
I mean, I think we also need to be
That's
conscientious.
That's a new t-shirt. Do the OULA.
Do OULA.
Doula. The OULA.
Do the OULA. Yes, I do the OULA.
I love the OULA.